Hello, gentlemen. I hope everybody's doing well today. So, wanted to make a part two to my narcissism and the dating scene video. This one is going to be about sociopathic traits. I had a commenter on one of my videos basically say that I think he said like over 90% of the women that are under the age of 40 exhibit sociopathic traits, and I was thinking to myself, I really got to make this video because last night I was doing research after I made my video, and I was looking at this thing under sociopathic traits, and I was shocked, to be honest, because the modern day American woman exhibits fucking all these traits. So I'm going to read them out to you, and I got my screen cap up, so I'm going to let you guys read along. So here we go. So, number one, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but I study a lot about psychology, and I have studied a lot about psychology. So, let's go ahead and go through some of these, shall we? Profile of a sociopath. Number one, it says here, I think that's pronounced Gibness. I think that's how you pronounce that, or Gibbiness. I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyways, first one's going to be this word and superficial charm. I'm going to break all these down as I go. Well, number one's obvious. We see tons of women today have superficial charm. Things such as manipulation and makeup, and how they do their hair, and how they lie on social media. That's just a few. I'm not going to list all of them. We're going to keep going, and a lot of these will pop up and repeat themselves. Second one here is manipulative and conning. They never recognize the rights of others and see their self-serving behavior as permissible. They appear to be charming, yet are covertly hostile and domineering, seeing their victims as merely an instrument to be used. They may dominate and humiliate their victims. So that one's interesting. We all know that women are manipulative and conning. We know they manipulate everything. They manipulate with their looks, with makeup. They manipulate their hair. They manipulate what they wear. They manipulate what they say. They manipulate and lie about. And I'm going to get onto this one down here, sociopathic lying. That will tie into that one. But manipulative and conning is an obvious one. Now this one's interesting because it says they may dominate and humiliate their victims. Well, a lot of what feminism is doing is dominating and humiliating their victims with shaming language that has been allowed in our culture today. Let's keep going. Grandiose sense of self, feels entitled to certain things as their right. That screams feminism right here, baby. Screams feminism. This is all the feminists talk about, is their entitlement of their right to be feminists. Now, our culture today is basically inhibiting all of these different traits that I'm going to be talking about. Our culture has allowed every single one of these things, which is why I said in my video about narcissism is that everything in our culture today is designed to the most perfect way to germinate narcissistic and mental illness. Okay, now let's get on to this one. Psychopathic and psychological lying, or pathological lying, has no problem lying coolly and easily, and is almost impossible for them to be truthful on a consistent basis, can create and get caught up in complex belief about their own powers and abilities, extreme convincing, and even able to pass lie detector tests. So, I keep mispronouncing that word. Pathological lying. Now, this one's so obvious, because women lie about everything. They lie about what they wear. They lie about their true intentions. They lie about what they look like with makeup. They lie about what they look like on social media with filtering. Everything's filtered now. Everything is designed for the woman to be an expert and a pathological liar. Lack of remorse, shame, and guilt. A deep-seated rage, which is split off and repressed, is at their core. Does not see others around them as people, but only targets and opportunities. Instead of friends, they have victims and accomplices who end up as victims. The end always justifies the means, and they let nothing stand in their way. So that one's lack of remorse, shame, and guilt. We all see that one with our modern-day women as well. And most of the guys end up in victims, and the government allows it via things such as divorce court. Now, a deep-seated rage which splits off and repressed, this is the basic foundation of what feminism is relying upon. a deep-seated issue within their personalities, mental health issues. Because just think about it. The feminist movement is so extreme and so crazy. The only people that buy into something that insane are insane people. And people with mental illnesses and deep-seated rage and hatred for something that happened that they didn't get resolved properly. Shallow emotions. When they show what seems to be warmth, joy, love, and compassion is nothing more than fiend, I think that's find. I can't pronounce that word. Then experienced and serves an ulterior motive. So basically, I think what this is basically saying is that, fake emotion. Outraged by insignificant matters, yet remaining unmoved and cold by what would upset a normal person, since they are not genuine, neither are their promises. So we all know women have shallow emotions. That's manipulation. Incapacity for love. Well, that one's obvious. Need for stimulation. This has to do with the fact I was talking about earlier with narcissistic people are basically, they get off on themselves because they're so into themselves. That's why they're narcissists. But women are not having sex, and this is something that was mentioned in my previous video, because they are getting off on their own, they're getting off on attention and stimulation. So let's read this one. Need for stimulation. Living on the edge, verbal outbursts and physical punishments are normal. Promiscuity and gambling are common. So reckless behavior. So women are constantly having attention, constantly want attention on social media, on dating sites, on the internet, on the culture, on the news, in the movies, constant stimulation, which is one of the contributing factors of why you don't see women being as promiscuous in terms of openly doing as much as they truly probably would do with this right here. So callousness and lack of empathy. Unable to empathize with the pain of their victims, having only contempt for others, feelings of distress, and readily taking advantage of them. That one's more obvious in divorce court, and money, and things like that, and children. They'll take advantage of you for money and children, and screwing over you. That's obvious. Poor behavior controls an impulsive nature. Rage and abuse, alternating with small expressions of love and approval, produce an addictive cycle for the abuser and the abused. Now this one really is interesting, I thought. Rage and abuse, alternating with small expressions of love and approval, produce an addictive cycle for the abuser. So, let's keep reading. As well as creating hopelessness in their victim, believing that they are all-powerful, all-knowing, entitled, there's that word entitled again, to every wish, no sense of personal boundaries, no concern for their impact on others. Rage and abuse, alternating with small expressions of love approval, produce an addictive cycle for the abuser and the abused. This constant attention that we see these women constantly going into, this constant need of attention, is a cycle of an addictive abuse, not only to themselves but to other people. Early behavior problems / juvenile delinquency usually has a history of behavioral and academic difficulties, yet gets by conning others' problems in making and keeping friends, apparent behaviors such as cruelty to people and animals, and stealing. I don't have anything to say about this one just because it's already been talked about. I said this earlier. But one thing I've noticed in our society today is that cruelty to people or animals and stealing, etc. I know a lot of women that have stole things. I remember I dated this chick one time, and she said that she went into this store and she stole something, and she did it just because she thought it was exciting and exhilarating. Can you believe that? So that would make sense. Another thing I see is that our culture has become degraded to the point where people are openly practicing bestiality, and more than I have noticed, women are the ones that practice bestiality. So I would classify that as cruelty to animals. Irresponsible and unreliability, not concerned about wrecking others' lives and dreams. Obvious and indifferent to the devastation they cause, does not accept blame themselves but blames others even for the acts they obviously committed. That goes back to pathological lying. We all know women lie about everything. and they blame everybody for everything because they don't want to come to their, again, it ties back to irresponsibility and unreliability. Again, a trait of sociopathic behavior. Promiscuous sexual behavior and infidelity. Promiscuity, child sexual abuse, rape, and sexual acting out of all sorts. That we all know that women like to be promiscuous, and they do degrading things. Lack of realistic life plan, parasitical lifestyle, tends to move around a lot or make all-encompassing promises for the future, poor work ethic, but exploits others effectively. This one's interesting because, you know, what's interesting is that you see a lot of women now in governmental positions and doing a whole bunch of work and stuff. And it has come to a point now where the whole job market is destroyed because they're putting people in there that don't know what the fuck they're doing. People that have poor work ethic. You know, I was at this, I'm not going to say the name, I was at a hardware store picking up a pair of gloves, and there was this fucking woman there, and she was holding up the whole line, and I went up to the cash register, and there was an open cash register, the light was off, but I went up there anyway, and I hear over here right next to the register in front of me, I know how to work a cash register, and the woman behind the cash register was having, I guess, some dispute with the customer. But this person was holding up the whole fucking line. This was the worker, not the woman checking out, but the worker that is checking out the customer. One of the workers there. So this goes back to poor work ethic, but exploits others effectively. It's so obvious that we see in our society that I've seen a lot of women in governmental high positions of power. Okay? They all have poor work ethic, and they exploit other people, and they just do a shitty job. Criminal and entrepreneurial versatility. Changes their image as needed to avoid prosecution, changes life story readily. Well, that's just back to pathological lying. You know, they'll lie and they'll present so many different sides to an argument so they can get away with it, basically. Now, here's other related qualities. Contemptuous of those who seek to understand them. 2, does not perceive anything is wrong with them. 3, authoritarian. 4, secretive. 5, paranoid. 6, only rarely in difficulty with the law, but seeks out situations where their tyrannical behavior will be tolerated, condoned, and admired. I mean, good Lord, people. I mean, you know, one of the things I see is just like, we all let women get away with everything. In the movies, they all seem to be the bad guy. You ever notice in movies where they always put a woman in position of killing another man, or in some kind of position where the woman is always above the man? This is part of the predictive programming. This is designed to get people to basically, you know, exhibit this quality and this trait. And our society we let women get away with everything. We let them get away with divorce court. We let them get away with, in some cases, murder. And it's just admired because they're beautiful, right? It's fucking ridiculous. It's psychotic. Number 7, conventional appearance. Number 8, goal of enslavement of their victims. Number 9, exercises despotic control over every aspect of the victim's life. Basically manipulation and control. We see that with women in marriage today. Number 10, has an emotional need to justify their crimes and therefore needs their victims' affirmation, respect, gratitude, and love. Stockholm Syndrome, and also bad boy mentality, alpha male type stuff, I think, in some cases. 11, ultimate goal is the creation of a willing victim. Number 12, incapable of real human attachment to another. No respect or honor or dignity, as I was talking about in my other video. 13, unable to feel remorse or guilt. 14, extreme narcissism and grandiose. 15, may state readily that their goal is to rule the world. We all know women want to have a lot of power, don't we? Now, here's a note. Note, in the 1830s, the disorder was called moral insanity. By 1900s, it was changed to psychopathic personality. More recently has been termed antisocial personality disorder, which has nothing to do with, well, somewhat antisocial, but anyways. In the DSM-3 and the DSM-4, some critics have complained that in the attempt to rely only on objective criteria, the DSM has broadened the concept to include many individuals. That's a key word right there. To include and broaden the horizon to to include many individuals. So basically, they're trying to get everybody to become mentally ill under this criteria, which I'd say most people these days will fall under this criteria, but we're just speaking about women right now. The APD category, anti-personality disorder category, includes people who have commit illegal, immoral, and self-serving acts for a variety of reasons that are not necessarily psychopaths. Now, this is the DSM-4 definition. Antisocial personality disorder is characterized by a lack of regard for the moral and legal standards in the local culture. Now, it's interesting that how they define it to be in the local culture. Well, who sets culture? Well, that's corporations and people in positions of power and media. There is a marked inability to get along with others or to abide by social rules. Individuals with this disorder are sometimes called psychopathic or sociopathic. Diagnostic criteria DSM-4. Now, this goes back to part of antisocial personality disorder and sociopathic traits. Number 1, since the age of 15, there has been a disregard for violation of the rights of others, those rights considered normal by the local culture as indicated by at least 3 of the following. So they have to have at least 3 of the following in order to be considered diagnosed with antisocial sociopathic traits and disorder. All right, that's here. Number 1, A, repeated acts that could lead to arrest. B, conning for pleasure or profit, repeated lying and the use of aliases. C, failure to plan ahead or being impulsive. D, repeated assaults on others. Women are very assault. They love to assault people. E, reckless when it comes to their or others' safety. F, poor work behavior or failure to honor financial obligations. Women are terrible with finances. G, rationalization of the pain they inflict on others. Number 2, at least 18 years of age. 3, evidence of conduct disorder with onset before the age of 15. 4, symptoms not due to another mental disorder. Now, I'm going to keep going on just a little bit further, but I'm going to read something to you guys, and this is tying into antisocial personality disorder. This is an overview. Now I'm going to read the second paragraph. People with this disorder appear to be charming at times and make relationships, but to them, these relationships in name only. So one thing that I see with this is in the dating scene. You know, these chicks, they don't want to have relationships. They want the attention. Going back to the attention. It says here, let's see, what was I? They all ended up whenever necessary or when it suits them, and their relationships without depth or meaning include marriages. They seem to have an innate ability to find the weakness in people, and are ready to use the weakness to their own ends through deceit, manipulation, or intimidation, and gain pleasure from doing so. I don't think I have to say anything more about that than the current divorce court marriage situation. They appear to be incapable of any true emotions, from love to shame to guilt. They are quick to anger, but just as quick to let go, without holding grudges. No matter what emotion they state they have, it has no bearing on their future actions or attitudes. They rarely are able to have jobs that last for any length of time. As they become easily bored, instead needing constant change, they live for the moment, forgetting the past and not planning the future, not thinking ahead of what consequences their actions will have. They want immediate rewards and gratification. Immediate rewards and gratification. There currently is no form of psychotherapy that works with those with antisocial personality disorder. I'm going to read that again. There are no, as those with this disorder have no desire to change themselves. Misread. They want immediate rewards and gratification. There is no current form of psychotherapy that works with those with antisocial personality disorder, as those with the disorder have no desire to change themselves, which is a prerequisite. No medication is available either. So what all these antipsychotic medications that these women are taking are there nothing more than to suppress the symptoms and not there to cure the symptoms. That's why I say they just ends up making them worse. The only treatment is the prevention of this disorder in the early stages when a child first begins to show symptoms of conduct disorder. And we know damn sure that women aren't getting told, cut the shit. They're doing the exact opposite with letting them be princesses and run around like everything's fine and you don't have any consequences for your reactions and everything's just fine. I mean, good Lord. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just trying to figure out what is relevant. Psychopaths only have a shallow range of emotions, and guilt Lack of guilt, says Hare. They often see themselves as victims, lack remorse, or the ability to empathize with others. I mean, feminists, it's all about victim mentality, because it's what it is doing is it's inhibiting these psychotic traits to appear in the person's mind, so they have mental illness. Psychopathic play, in fact, the fact that most of us are trusting and forgive people. It says here the warning signs are also there, are always there. It's just difficult to see them because once we trust someone, their friendship becomes a blinder. Even lovers get taken for a ride by psychopaths. For a psychopath, now this is important, I think. A romantic relationship is just another opportunity to find a trusting partner who will buy into their lies. It is primarily why a psychopath rarely stays in a relationship for long term and is often involved with 3 or 4 partners at once, says Wilson. To a psychopath, everything about a relationship is a game. When Wilson refers to the movie Sliding Doors to illustrate her point, in the film the main character comes home early after just had been fired from her job. Only moments ago her boyfriend has let another woman out the front door. Oh, this is just... But in a matter of minutes, he is the attentive and concerned the boyfriend, takes her out to dinner, and devoting the entire right time to conforming her. Oh, okay, well, this is just bullshit. Okay, here's the other thing I've noticed with this. A lot of the psychology is geared towards men being the bad ones, but no one ever turns the finger at the other side, do they? Psychopaths do not seek therapy willingly. Yeah, it's true. So, now I'm going to read something else. Here we go. The malignant personality. These people are mentally ill and extremely dangerous. The following precautions will help us protect from the destructive acts which they are capable. First, to recognize them, keep the following guidelines in mind. They are habitual liars. They seem incapable of either knowing or telling the truth about anything. Number 2, they are egotistical to the point of narcissism. They really believe that they are sent apart from the rest of humanity by some special grace. Boy, we really tell women about that one, don't we? 3, the scapegoat. They are incapable of either having the insight or willingness to accept responsibility for anything they do. Whatever the problem is, always seems someone else's fault. Well, that one's obvious too. Number 4, they are remorsefully and vindictive when thwarted and exposed. Man, women hate to be told the truth, don't they? Because they know they're doing all these traits that I've listed above. Number 5, genuine religious, moral, other values play no part in their lives. They have no empathy for others and are capable of violence. It says here, under older psychological terminology, they fall into the category of psychopath or sociopath. But unlike the typical psychopath, their behavior is masked by a superficial social facade. I'm going to read that again. Their behavior is masked by a superficial social facade. What is a social facade? It is putting on a front. And our culture today in the Western culture is full of social facade. So people are so able now to get away with fucking shit that they should not be able to get away with, i.e. dating sites and social media and technology. If you've come into contact with such person or persons, do the following immediately. Okay, well, let's skip that. So that's the end of this, and I wanted to read these traits, profile of a sociopath. And the reason why I wanted to read these traits to you is because one thing I've noticed is that every single woman in our culture today exhibits at least 5, 10 of these qualities that I've just read to you. Okay? And this is why I tell guys, don't fuck with the dating scene. Because you're going to run into 90% of the women that you're going to run into on these dating scenes are going to be of this description. And you're going to get yourself hurt. And they have done it. You know, they call the cops on you. They try to get you in trouble. They try to scapegoat. And the list goes on. Unfortunately, in our society, we have grown people up to become narcissistic sociopaths. Our culture is full of narcissistic sociopaths. Our media promotes it. Our culture promotes it. Our movies, our news, and we just let it all happen. We let mental illness run rampant in the West. And so what I've just read to you is the profile of a sociopath. And these women exhibit all these qualities as far as I'm concerned. Which is why here in the Western culture, it's a game over. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and put up with a sociopath. Okay? And possibly get myself, have my throat slit one night because, you know, somebody lost their cuckoo. You know, one flew with a fucking cuckoo's nest or some shit. You know, I'm not going to put up with this crap. And I don't think you guys need to put up with it either, because these people are very dangerous. You know, I said in my last video that, you know, these are the kind of people that you would find in mental institutions. You want to fuck a mental patient because you're going to be dealing with a sociopath. So anyways, I really want to know what you guys think about this. I mean, I can't tell you how many guys are probably going to comment and say, you know what, I knew an ex like that, I knew a girlfriend like that, I knew a wife like that. And here it is, people. So I'd love to hear your comments on these traits, and thanks, guys, for listening.